Hey, Christian therapist, are you aware of all of the financial benefits that come from being a private practice owner? I think it's really normal as therapists to neglect the financial side of things in our business because most of us were trained just to be therapists and we weren't trained as accountants. However, keeping track of your expenses is imperative to running a successful practice, and it can also save you a lot of money. Many of you are sole income earners. Private practice is not just something you're doing for fun or out of the goodness of your heart, but it's the way that you earn your living. So listen up because today I'm sharing three different tax write offs that you can utilize in order to save money and be a great steward of your resources.
Hey, Christian therapist, are you craving a counseling career that aligns with your faith and actually supports your well being? Welcome to the Prosperous Christian Therapist Podcast. I'm Kimberly Van Hooser, Christian therapist, private practice owner, and business coach for mental health professionals like you. In this podcast, you'll get practical strategies and faith led guidance to help you build a thriving private practice, one that serves your clients well and makes an impact for the kingdom of God. So, what are you waiting for? Grab your notebook and join me for today's episode.
Welcome to the Prosperous Christian Therapist Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Van Hooser. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of a Christian private practice located in Colorado and serving clients in Colorado and Arizona. And I'm also a business coach for mental health professionals. If you're looking for some one to one coaching to help you launch your private practice or to help you grow your private practice, or just if you have questions about how to integrate faith into therapy, how to be a faith led clinician, you don't need to be marketing yourself as a Christian therapist in order to work with me. But I really have a passion for helping believers who are in the mental health field learn to just walk in alignment with their God given values and to hear God's voice in order to partner with Him in their private practice. So feel free to reach out to me if that's something that you would like some assistance with. My email is kimberly@claritychristian.com. I'll be sure to leave it in the description below. I'd also love to have you join my free Facebook community group, Start and Grow Your Private Practice as a Christian Therapist. You'll be surrounded by other Christian clinicians who can provide some accountability and encouragement. I also offer tips and strategies for all things private practice. If you ever have any questions about private practice or how to operate as a Christian clinician, I really welcome and encourage people to post those in the group because then I get to respond and provide some free coaching to you as well for any areas that you have questions in. So please head on over to Facebook and join the group. I'll go ahead and link it below in the description. Today's episode is all about the financial perks of being a private practice owner. Specifically, I'll be focusing on three different things that you can write off on your taxes that will end up saving you money. Most of us weren't trained as tax professionals, and I've really found that a lot of clinicians are either completely unaware of things they can write off in their taxes, or they're not taking full advantage of things that will end up adding up and saving them a lot of money on their taxes. As a disclaimer, I am not a tax professional. I'm not a CPA. So it is very important that whatever information I share here, that you confirm it with your own tax professional before taking it as set in stone. This is just information that I want to provide that will hopefully help you just be a little bit more aware of some of the benefits that you might be able to take advantage of. It will help you know what to ask your tax professional come tax season so you know that you are getting the full benefits of being a private practice owner. So, one thing that can save you hundreds of dollars on your taxes each year is to keep track of the mileage that you drive for business related purposes. I think the federal reimbursement rate right now per mile is 67 cents, and that can add up pretty quickly, especially over the course of a year. One thing that you cannot count as tax deductible is anything you drive for commuting. So, what commuting miles are is driving from your home to your primary work location. So, if you work at an office that is 10 miles from your house, you're logging about 20 miles a day for commuting, and that does not count as tax deductible. However, if you conduct in home therapy, you can count the miles between your primary work location and your client's home as tax deductible. If you're driving 15 miles from your office to a client's home and then back to the office, you get to count 30 miles. And let's just calculate 30 times 67 is $20.01. So let's just say you're doing 30-mile round trip to see someone, you've got 20 bucks each time. If you're doing that once a week, let's say 20 bucks times 52, that's $1,000 right there. So it really quickly adds up once you're recording your miles. You can also count mileage for other business related purposes. So if you're driving to a conference, if you're driving to a CEU event, if you're driving to go meet another mental health professional for coffee, you can count that as a business related purpose. It is tax deductible. You get 67 cents reimbursement per mile. So I know a lot of you work virtually, so your primary place of business might be your home office or your home address. If you happen to also have in-person office space, but that is technically your secondary place of business, then I do believe you can count your mileage from your home address to your secondary place of work. So that doesn't technically count as commuting because you are driving from your primary place of business, which is your home, to a secondary location. So, as I mentioned before, please make sure that you confirm all of this with your tax professional to make sure that there haven't been any changes in laws and that you're handling things appropriately for your state. This can be a little bit annoying to keep track of, but I do believe they have some apps that you can download that will help track your mileage. I just have the Note app on my phone and I have a certain tab that is designated to my 2025 mileage for business. Each time I get in the car for a business related event or trip, I write down the date, the odometer, how many miles I end up driving, and then the purpose for my trip. About once a month, I will add up those miles and I add it into my Excel spreadsheet that I use for my bookkeeping. It can be a little bit bothersome if you go the entire year without adding things up and then it's tax day and you have to go back through and add all of the miles for the entire year. So that's why I think it's really important to get into that habit of just adding them up once a month, maybe once a quarter if you want, and just keeping track of that. Another great tax write off to take advantage of is if you have a home office, you get to actually write off a percentage of your utilities and even your rent and your mortgage interest. So, if you do want to take advantage of this, you do need to have a designated space in your home that is considered your home office and not used for any other purposes. So, you can't just be doing therapy in your living room or therapy in your guest room. It's supposed to be a space that is separate just for office and business related purposes. So, with the home office deduction, you can actually measure the square footage of your office and find out what percentage it is of your overall home. And then that percentage is actually utilized to calculate how much you can write off from your utilities if you rent from what you pay in rent. And then if you are a homeowner, then you actually get to write off, I believe it's a portion of the interest you pay in your mortgage. So let's just say that your home office is 150 square feet and you live in a 2,000 square foot home. So that means that your home office is 7.5% of the overall space of your home. That should mean that 7.5% of what you pay for utilities and an interest on your mortgage every single month should be tax deductible. I believe there's also a flat rate deduction for home office. So it's important each year to check and see what will save you the most money. Is it calculating the actual percentage of your home office in relation to the overall square footage of your home, or is it just taking that flat rate deduction? Okay, the third area I'm going to discuss is writing off travel that is related to business. So, if you attend a therapy conference in a different state, if you are going on a cruise where you can take some CEUs, you do get to count that as a business related expense and it is tax deductible. And just to clarify what tax deductible means, it doesn't mean that if your cruise costs you $3,000 that you actually get all of that money back on your taxes, but you do not have to pay taxes on that $3,000. So for me, just in general, I'll typically set aside about 30 to 35% of my income for taxes. But in this case, I wouldn't have to pay that 35% of the $3,000 towards my taxes. So $3,000 times 30% is $900. So I would be basically saving $900 in taxes if I choose to spend $3,000 on my travel related to business, if that makes sense. So it doesn't make your travel free, but it makes it a lot more affordable if you think about it. This is a topic that's really important to once more confirm with your tax professional before you make your decisions, because it is an area where they do tend to change the rules quite a bit because they don't want people taking advantage of it and writing off a lot of personal expenses on their taxes. So, for example, if you choose to fly to Hawaii because there is a conference there and you can get some CEUs, a good portion of that will be tax deductible. I do believe you can write off your plane ticket there and whatever nights you pay to be in a hotel when it's around the conference time. However, if you were to choose to stay 3 or 4 days extra and just enjoy the island, then I do not believe you can count your hotel cost while you're there for personal time. So, this is just a good thing to run by your tax professional and make sure you're following all the laws appropriately. Just being aware of all the different tax write offs that you can utilize can really help you stretch your dollar and I think make things feel way more accessible to you than you would have imagined. For example, when I first moved to Colorado, I was debating whether or not to rent a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom apartment. From the outside, it looked like just renting a 1 bedroom apartment would have saved me a good deal of money. but I really was hoping to not have to do therapy in my living room. I wanted to have a second bedroom so I could actually convert that into my home office. And what I found was with a home office deduction that it actually wasn't that much more money every single month for me to rent that two-bedroom apartment. It really opened up the doorways for me to just enjoy a higher quality of life. I know that a lot of my listeners are concerned about finances, especially if you are just starting your private practice or your private practice is not fully up and running yet. But by just knowing some standard tax deductions and reimbursements you can get on your taxes, it really does open up the level of access that you have to a lot of great things for your business. So I encourage you to start keeping track of the miles that you drive for your business. Talk to a tax professional or just do a little bit of research for what you can write off for a home office deduction, as well as for any business related travel. Get out your calculator and look up that conference you've been wanting to attend and take some time to figure out how much it will actually cost you if you're able to write that off on your taxes this next year. For any of you who are still kind of struggling or wondering where to get started and learning more about tax deductions and tax write offs, I do have a great resource that I want to refer you to. This is a resource that I personally utilize for my own business. I don't get any affiliate marketing or kickbacks for mentioning this, so just know that this is something I've found to be so valuable. It's a business run by a family therapist who is also a CPA, and she has a very affordable monthly membership where you can have access to her spreadsheets and bookkeeping advice, as well as a lot of trainings on what you need to do with your finances to be tax ready as a private practice owner. Her name is Jenny, and her business is called Simple Profit. So if you go to www.simpleprofit.com, you'll be able to have access to some free resources that she gives, as well as take a look at what that monthly membership is. One of my favorite things about her membership is that you can actually email her any question that you have about accounting or taxes, and she responds very quickly just with good information and some direction for you. So that's something that I've used quite a bit with her, especially if you're working over multiple state lines. One thing that a lot of therapists don't realize is that they need to be aware of the different tax laws by state if they are seeing clients in multiple states. So, for example, if you have a business in Arizona, but you're also seeing clients in Florida or in California, you need to make sure that Florida and California are okay with you counting the income coming from people who live in their state as Arizona based income. And that might not always be the case based on states. But Jenny over at Simple Practice does research for you on the different laws in various states. So you can email her and get some really good guidance on what you need to be aware of if you are seeing clients in multiple states. So make sure that you go ahead and check out Simple Profit. I'll make sure to link her website in the description below. I really hope that this episode has been helpful for you in just raising awareness of some different areas where you could save money. Once more, final disclaimer, I am not a tax professional, so it's important that you confirm everything that I've shared on this episode with someone who is and someone who's fully aware of all the current laws regarding taxes and what you can write off on your taxes in the future. Thank you so much for listening today. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and join my free Facebook community. I would love to have you there. And if there's anything where you would feel like you would benefit from some one to one coaching with me, I would love to walk through the process of starting your private practice with you. So feel free to reach out to me at Kimberly@claritychristian.com. If you found value in today's episode, would you leave a written review on Apple Podcasts? It helps other faith-led clinicians like you find the show. And don't forget to join my free Facebook community, Start and Grow Your Private Practice as a Christian Therapist, where you'll join other clinicians for encouragement, accountability, and free tips and support. See you there.